Well, good evening, everyone. Jeff Bickerstaff here. Wanted to give everyone an update on our potentially exciting weather that we have coming our way this coming Friday evening and Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon and probably even Saturday evening. And I'll explain all that in just 1 second. Okay, so what's going to be our weather maker that you probably already heard on the news? If you watch the weather, local weather that is, you probably already heard that we're going to have some exciting weather come Friday evening into Saturday morning. Now, not exciting weather from a precipitation standpoint, unfortunately, because we definitely need the rain, but probably exciting from a temperature standpoint and most definitely exciting from a wind standpoint. So let's talk about what's going to happen. So this is our current wind map of North America and the Pacific Ocean. And so these color gradients are going to show you wind speed, and the darker the colors are, the higher the wind speed. So if I can get my drawing tools on here, I'll kind of point this out. So as you can see from the counterclockwise rotation from these winds, which of course, if you remember from earth science class in school, low pressure rotates, the winds spin counterclockwise around a low pressure system, and around a high pressure system they spin clockwise. So of course you see counterclockwise winds here, and so it's spinning. This is definitely a low pressure system, and you can tell from the south side of this system it's definitely windy, that's for sure. So the color gradient legend will tell you that there's wind speeds out over here in the ocean around 70 miles an hour. Now, we're not going to see anything like that, but we are going to see winds that could approach 50 miles an hour in gusts come Friday evening into Saturday morning. And that combined with the wind is not going to feel very good, that's for sure. So, we're going to talk about what the evolution of this is. So this is a low pressure system, like I said, currently Thursday, 6 o'clock roughly. And so what's going to happen is this is going to move in our general direction, like this. If I can draw an arrow there. Of course, if you for reference, we're right here in North Texas. It's heading our way. It's going to be pretty quick. So probably, and I will say this: tomorrow it's going to be windy. It's just going to be windy from a different direction. It's going to be windy out of the south. It's going to be very warm for January. So if you got things to do outside, if the wind doesn't bother you, if you got things to do outside, definitely do them tomorrow because you won't feel like doing them Saturday morning. That's for sure. With the winds gusting over 40 miles an hour and temperatures in the 30s, it's going to feel like in the low 20s from a wind chill standpoint. So you definitely would not want to be outside during anything going on Saturday morning. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So what's going to happen is this system's going to move toward us fairly quickly, like I said. So if we go to a close-up of our area, let's back this up just a tad, and let's just get to our current situation. So again, this is a wind gradient map, and right now winds are out of the northwest. Now it's funny, you may be thinking, hey, well, wait a minute, during January when the winds are out of the northwest, it's kind of colder, right? Well, it's kind of this weird weather pattern we have, all thanks to La Nina. This air is actually being pulled from the northwest, which is actually pretty warm because it's what we call a downsloping wind, and so that's terrain that's higher than us in elevation. The Colorado Plateau, when the wind comes from a higher elevation down to a lower elevation, in certain conditions, it will heat up because it's being compressed downward, and that heats up the air and that makes it warmer. So that's why it's kind of unusual to see the northwest wind that's actually warmer in the winter than it is from the south, which is typically from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's why we had weird kind of warm weather with northwest winds, a little unusual. That will all go away tonight. We'll have a south wind tomorrow, and that will definitely pick up in the 15, 20, 25 mile an hour range tomorrow in the head of this low pressure system that we just talked about. So if we kind of put the maps in motion, if you will, you're going to see something here. So remember, this map is a map of wind gradients. So the darker the color, the higher the wind. So this is tomorrow. You're going to see these, the bluer colors are going to be where wind is going to be a little bit higher, starting to gust. Now you can see, hopefully you can see the wind direction. It's going to start out of the northeast, but then tomorrow morning it's going to start to pick up, and you're going to see these winds start to increase. I said the blue was higher. That's actually calmer, but when you get these darker colors, the orange and the red and purple, kind of like when you see a radar representation, that's what you can kind of think of. So I put the forecasted wind speed over Saxby on the map there, so hopefully you can see that. So now you see this wind field coming. This is part of the low pressure system. So now we're Friday at midnight, Saturday at midnight. So that's when the wind's really going to start to pick up. So you can see 36, 43 miles an hour. And so you're going to see that fairly common reading most of the Saturday morning for sure, and it will definitely last into Saturday afternoon. Start to calm down a little bit into Sunday morning. But I wanted to give you an idea of what we can expect because it's really going to be windy. It's going to be something that's you're not going to be able to not notice. Now, like I said, right now this is Saturday about 5 o'clock. You see a 45-mile wind gust, forecasted wind gust. And then we're getting into late Saturday night. You're going to see the winds die down a little bit, not a ton, but definitely less than 40 miles an hour. And then, of course, you're going to see the winds gradually, as we get into Sunday, are gradually going to start to diminish. Back below 25 miles an hour. It's still going to be windy and breezy, but it's just not going to be near as bad as Saturday. So I'm going to stop this, and we're going to back it up to the peak of the winds, which is probably going to be, let me do this, probably somewhere around there. So this is Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can see this is a forecast model. This is one of our models. It's probably the most down the middle of the road, maybe a little bit aggressive on wind speeds, but you can see that marker that I have over Saxby, the wind gust would be 44 miles an hour if the forecast pans out. Now, obviously, it's going to be not exactly like that, but you can see areas west of Dallas Fort Worth in the blue definitely going to have wind speeds higher than that. And if we click on an area around Stephenville, let's say, yeah, they're going to have gusts around 51 according to the forecast model. So the bottom line is that be prepared for windy conditions starting late. Well, it's going to be windy tomorrow. It's just going to be out of the south. It won't be quite as windy, but it'll be windy starting tomorrow. But then especially Friday evening into Saturday morning, especially overnight Saturday then into Saturday morning, it is going to be windy. It is going to be very windy. So if you have anything that's loose that you don't want to blow away, because with wind gusts over 40 miles an hour, if you have stuff that will blow away, it will blow away, I promise. So make sure you secure that between now and before you go to bed on Friday evening. And then, like I said, when you wake up Saturday morning, you're going to notice it. And most likely, since it's going to be very windy overnight, Friday, Saturday morning, you're probably going to notice it overnight. If you happen to be a light sleeper, it'll probably wake you up to some extent. Not like a thunderstorm would, but you may wake up and hear it. So be prepared for that too. And if that's not all enough for you, when this system finally departs on Saturday night into Sunday morning, right now on the Red River counties, may see some snow flurries, convective snow showers, mainly in Oklahoma. But if this storm system goes a little bit further south than it's forecast to, then that's something we'll definitely have to watch. I'll definitely stay on top of that. So the bottom line is this: be prepared for a very windy day on windy Friday tomorrow. Much more windy on Friday evening into Saturday morning. So if you have outdoor plans on Saturday morning, just be prepared for very gusty winds. Remember, temperatures will be in the low 30s, maybe mid 30s, and that's going to put the wind chills in the mid 20s to lower 20s. So if you're outside on Saturday morning, the weather's going to be okay from a precipitation standpoint, but it is going to be cold. I just want you to be prepared for that. Okay, as always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. If you have any comments, just leave them after the video, and I'll try to answer them. And as we go along, I'll have further updates as needed. I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll talk to you soon.